Well, good morning. This is a Friday morning, and it's always good to get to the end of a week. I'll tell you what, it has been quite a week, and actually it's just the continuation of some very interesting weeks here as we have been dealing with the COVID-19 crisis in America and in Indiana and right here in Hancock County. So I wanted to come to you this morning and just talk about a few things that are on my heart and my mind about how things are going and what we're doing and where this all might go. But I'm hopeful that you actually saw the news or some indication last night that shows that America has now surpassed both Italy and China in the number of cases that we have had of COVID-19. This was a startling reminder of just how important this issue is. I actually had not anticipated that we would pass China for another week. So things are really heating up, and if you look at the data, and I tend to dig into the data, you know that the majority of what's happening right now are in the very big cities. New York in particular, and Detroit, and Los Angeles, and Chicago is becoming a hotspot as well. So we know that this is a disease that starts in metropolitan areas and just kind of spreads out. And you know that we are here in Indianapolis, and we're in the top 15, I think, in terms of metro areas, depending on how you look at it. And so we are certainly an area that we need to be concerned. And if you have also looked at some of the data coming out of Indiana, about 2/3 of the cases in our state are actually in the central Indiana area, so Marion County and the surrounding counties. So we're watching all this data very, very carefully. And it is reminding us that all of the preparations that we are making as a community and as a healthcare system are very important to continue on. The thing is that we really don't know when this is all going to hit. We know there's going to be a surge. We see that happening in other parts of the country. We know it's going to be coming to us as well, so we are blessed to have just a little bit more time to get ready, and we wish we had a date, but we don't. So there's an article that I've written recently, and if you've seen some of the other stuff that we've been doing, is that we really do anticipate that this surge is going to come sometime in mid-April or even beyond. So it's important for us to remember that this is a marathon and not a sprint. I think actually I heard that the governor called it yesterday a triathlon. And I have never wanted to be in a triathlon, but I guess we're in a triathlon now. So this is where we're at. So we continue to make changes here at Hancock Health so that we can support our caregivers as they take care of the patients that we have and get ready for the patients that we will. A couple of things for you to know is that starting on Monday, we will be limiting visitation even more than we have been. In fact, we're basically going to be stopping outside visitation. But in order to make sure that our patients continue to have contact with their loved ones, we have something that is called e-visitation. So, as always, if you have a smartphone and you have the ability to FaceTime or Skype or do something like that with your loved one in the hospital, you can do it anytime. That's a wonderful tool. And if you do not have access to some sort of a mobile device, we have iPads that we have outfitted so that you can actually come to the hospital, drive up to the portico in front, and we can hand you an iPad, and then you can park right there or in our parking lot and use the Wi-Fi that 9-Star Connect has so graciously put into our parking lot to connect and talk to your loved one face to face. So it's like coming to the hospital without going inside, but being able to talk to your loved ones. So we would encourage you to do that. Use your mobile devices, and I'll have to say, use the mobile devices for other means as well. So I had been a Galaxy user for about 5 years now. I had an old phone, it finally died, and so I went down and I jumped back on the iPhone bandwagon, and my entire family is on iPhone, so they were very excited because they could FaceTime me again. And I was reminded that things like FaceTime and Skype are very, very handy. And I was talking to my daughters, so I have 3 daughters that are all in their 20s, and one of them lives in Texas, in Dallas. And I said, so how do you guys connect these days? Because, you know, I'm used to connecting in person. And they said, well, Dad, you know, you FaceTime and you can play games with each other online. And they even said you can play a board game with each other online. There's an app for that. I had no idea there were apps for these things, but there are. So make sure that you do that, because physical distancing does not have to equal social distancing, right? We call it social distancing, but that's really just physical distancing. So make sure that you maintain your relationships. Use these mobile devices that we have to do that. So I would encourage you to do that, because this is again a longer haul than I think many people had expected, and it will be important for us to maintain our ability to have relationships and to maintain positive attitudes as we go forward. So make sure you do that. So as we're looking at things that are coming down the road now, we're watching what's happening in Indianapolis, and the number of folks that are being infected by this disease is going up. You know that in Hancock County we now have had 9 cases, and we unfortunately have had 1 death in our county. Now, none of those positive cases were inpatients at our hospital yet, and that death did not happen here either. So we are actually in a pretty good place compared to some of the other counties out there, but we will all be treated equally in the end. So make sure that you are out there and you continue to do the things you've been doing. So wash your hands, cough into your sleeve, wear a mask if you're actually coughing. That's a great way to keep from infecting others. Make sure that you clean off surfaces that you touch. Don't shake hands, things like that. Those are very, very important for us to do. And only go to the places that you need to go. I know that we have something that's kind of neat that we've done here at Hancock Health, and that is that to try to make sure that our associates don't need to go to the grocery stores and places like that. We actually have a mini market that our food and nutrition staff have set up in our dining room that we no longer use because people can't sit there anymore. But it provides access to those kind of things to our associates so they don't have to go out into the community. And this is important. Make sure that you're just paying attention to what you're doing. Make smart decisions, use common sense, but just remember, when this disease comes along, most of the time you don't even know it at the beginning. So you can be infected and you can infect others without even knowing it. So just assume that you've got it and make decisions that are based on that. So I'll tell you what, there's a whole lot of things that are happening. I would encourage you to go out to our website, go out to hancockregional.org/coronavirus, all kinds of good information that we're updating there pretty consistently. Make sure you go out and look at the CDC website and the Indiana State Department of Health. There are a few other sources that are out there that you can link to that are on our website. So make sure that you are informed, make sure that you're making wise decisions, and if you would, we can't go out to eat right now, but order from the local restaurants because it'll be important for us that they are there when this thing is over. So make sure you order takeout. I love pizza, so if you want to invite me for some virtual pizza, we can FaceTime each other while we're each eating pizza. I think that would be great. So if you have any questions, please make sure that you look at our website, call our triage line, 317-325-2683, email at hancockregional.org if you want to email a nurse, and please know that we have other resources for you available out there. So with that, I hope that you have a great Friday and that you have a good weekend, and we look forward to coming back to you again next Friday at 9:45. Thanks much.